Welcome back, everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025, National Bean Counter Day. Can we take the day off if we did our own taxes? That's what I want to know. Let's talk about help for pharmacists, more cruise lines, jobs in Macon County, and a burr under James Spann's saddle, or maybe in his left shoe. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The bill that spurred Alabama pharmacists to show support by staging a walkout is now law, reports AL.com's Savannah Trians-Fernandez. It was signed into law by Governor Kay Ivey on Tuesday. The goal is to stem a rash of pharmacy closings across the state. The Alabama Independent Pharmacy Alliance said that around 13% of Alabama pharmacies have closed since 2018. The pharmacists and advocates of the new law at least partly blame that on pharmacy benefit managers, the companies that manage benefits between insurance companies and employers. That includes deciding co-payment levels and how much pharmacies are paid for meds and services. And many pharmacists say that they're often paid below cost for drugs. It's hard to keep a business open like that. So, the Community Pharmacy Relief Act prohibits the pharmacy benefit managers from reimbursing pharmacies less than the Medicaid reimbursement rate. It also would prohibit them from imposing miscellaneous fees. Now, opponents of the measure had argued that the requirement to match Medicaid rates means matching Medicaid's $10.64 dispensing fee, theoretically adding that to the consumer cost. Well, come next March, for the first time ever, there'll be 2 cruise lines from 2 companies at the Alabama Cruise Terminal, reports AL.com's John Sharp. 4 times during March 2026, American Cruise Lines will be docking the American Symphony in Mobile, each time giving passengers nearly a full day for excursions. Meanwhile, the Carnival Spirit will also be docked to the terminal. Its seasonal cruises run from October through March. In 2027, Carnival Cruise Lines expects to bring a new ship to Mobile. An auto supplier is coming to Macon County's industrial park and says it'll be bringing hundreds of new jobs with it, reports AL.com's William Thornton. Sam Quang is based in South Korea and also has operations in Vietnam, India, and Mexico. It's moving to an industrial building near Tuskegee to make injection, paint, and assembly-based parts for Kia and Hyundai vehicles. Used to, the problem with political discourse was the arrogance of people who wanted to simplistically characterize dissenting thought as stupid. Now, the problem with politics is all the stupid stuff. Now, take that however you will. I'm not sure who that indicts. But celebrated Alabama meteorologist James Spann recently shared a perfect example of where we are in American politics. Tweeted Spann, quote, "I made the mistake of sharing a Facebook post this morning featuring a photo from a follower that used the term Gulf of America in the description. Within minutes, I was called a Nazi, a denier, and several types of phobes. I deleted the post. Then I was called woke and a libtard. From now on, with me, it's simply the Gulf. I'm beginning to think my left shoe is politicized." End quote. Meanwhile, here on Down in Alabama, we're hoping for a full explanation over why Spann clearly prefers his metaphorical left shoe over his metaphorical right one. Hey, we're going to take a quick ad break, come back, and do another Alabama place name history. Y'all stay with us.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Now, for y'all new listeners, a recurring feature on Down in Alabama this year has been short histories of Alabama place names. We've had city names, county names, even a football stadium name. Some have been well-sourced and recorded into Alabama history. One came from the relative of some guy who got into a local bar fight 100 years ago. That sounds like I'm making it up, but I'm not. That really happened. Today, we'll share the history of a city's nickname, namely Jubilee City. Now, that would be Daphne in Baldwin County along Mobile Bay's eastern shore. And if you're in the Jubilee City of Daphne, you might shop in Jubilee Square. Your kid might have entered the high school art competition at the Jubilee Festival of the Arts. You might have caught a ball game at Jubilee Stadium. The song, by the way, Alabama Jubilee, was unrelated, however. Its lyrics were written by a foreign-born Yankee going through a cotton-eyed Stephen Foster phase, so he probably didn't know a Mobile Bay Jubilee from a Fort Payne hootenanny. The Jubilee we're talking about is not a hoedown on Mobile Bay, but a phenomenon that happens in Mobile Bay. A Jubilee results from an oxygen depletion in the bay. Marine biologists have said that sometimes after a rainy afternoon and an easterly or northeasterly wind, accumulated organic material contributes to a sharp reduction in oxygen. Bottom-dwelling sea life then moves into shallower water where there's more oxygen. Crabs, shrimp, flounder, and hardhead catfish are suddenly in abundance near shore, along with whatever other fish might follow them there. The Jubilee can stretch a few hundred feet or several miles and can happen on either side of the bay, but it's usually the eastern shore. And it could last into the night or, more rarely, into the next day. Now, scientists tell us that this particular phenomenon is known to happen only in Mobile Bay and Tokyo Bay. And on the rare occasion it does happen, floundering and crabbing, and sometimes other kinds of fishing, are easy. And years ago, when fishing was as much for survival as recreation, it was a big local event. Last June, a Jubilee occurred around Point Clear, and it made big news because people there were arrested and fined over having too many and too small fish and behavior that was deemed inappropriate by the Marine Patrol. Because of the cultural significance of Jubilees, legislation was introduced this year to exempt people from having to have a fishing license during a Jubilee. Now, that's unlikely to go all the way through this time around, but State Representative Matt Simpson, a Daphne Republican, said he's been working with wildlife officials on coming up with some solutions to avoid an arrest fest like we saw last summer. Y'all just make sure everything you keep is legal if you come across a Jubilee. It's not a fish kill. And hey, one more thing before I go. You heard us do the Alabama News Quiz this past Friday. There are some reporter types who might be coming on to do that. I'd also like to go ahead and open it up once again for listeners to come on the show and take the quiz. Something we did late last year. It's 5 questions, multiple choice, very easy situation, no pressure. And if you're available Thursday afternoon, maybe around 1 or 2, to record for Friday's show and would like to take a shot at doing the quiz yourself, send me an email to imorgan, IMORGAN, @AL.com. Now that's AL.com, the website. It's not AOL. People do that. Put quiz in the subject line, and we might be able to pick somebody at random to do that this week or schedule it out for a couple of weeks. You'll need a good internet connection during the time that we're recording. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to come back here again in the morning. Until then, y'all come see us anytime you want to on the World Wide Web at AL.com.